It started as a harmless joke, or at least that's what we told ourselves. We were on a weekend trip with my husband, Daniel, and a few close friends. Daniel was the kind of man who always took life too seriously. He planned everything down to the last detail, packed emergency kits for short drives, and insisted on checking every hotel review before booking. The rest of us were more spontaneous, more careless. Perhaps that Saturday morning, after hours of driving, we stopped at a quiet gas station on a long, empty road. Daniel went inside to grab coffee. One of our friends, Jason, chuckled and said, "Wouldn't it be funny if we just drove off and made him chase us for once?" Everyone laughed. I laughed too. It was supposed to be just a few minutes of teasing. So we did it. Jason drove the car forward a little. We watched Daniel come out with his coffee, squinting, looking for us. He waved, confused. Jason drove another few meters. We all laughed again. Then, somehow, the laughter pushed us further. Jason pressed the accelerator and said, "Let's just go around the block. He'll laugh too once we come back." I didn't stop him. I didn't say anything. I should have. We drove for about 10 minutes before looping back, only to realize that the gas station was now closed and Daniel wasn't there. His coffee cup sat on the curb, still half full. At first, I thought maybe he got angry and started walking. The road stretched out for miles in both directions. Panic began to creep in as we realized what we'd done. His phone went straight to voicemail. The joke stopped. Silence filled the car. Jason muttered something about turning back again, driving slowly this time, scanning the roadside for him. We searched for hours. The sun began to set. My stomach twisted with guilt. By nightfall, we finally called the local sheriff. They assured us they'd look for him, but the tone in the officer's voice told me exactly what he thought of us. When I got home that night, I couldn't sleep. Every creak of the house felt like a reminder of my mistake. I kept seeing his face, that confused smile, his hand waving as he stepped out of the store, the disbelief when we didn't stop. I cried quietly, realizing the truth I didn't want to face. It wasn't a joke. It was cruelty disguised as humor. 3 days passed before anyone heard from him. He came home quietly, without warning. His clothes were dusty, his voice low, his eyes hollow. He didn't yell. He didn't cry. He simply said, "I walked 15 miles that day. My phone died halfway. I spent the night in an abandoned bus stop. You left me there." The weight of his words hit me harder than any scream could have. I tried to apologize, to explain that it was supposed to be harmless, that we never meant for it to go that far. But Daniel only shook his head. "It's not the distance that hurt," he said softly. "It's the thought that you all laughed while I stood there wondering what I'd done wrong." Those words stayed with me. The following weeks were quiet. He barely spoke. He went to work, came home, ate dinner in silence. I could see the trust fading in his eyes, the invisible wall between us growing higher each day. Our friends tried to reach out, sending texts and messages filled with excuses and half-hearted apologies. He didn't respond to any of them. I began to realize that some jokes don't leave bruises you can see. They leave ones that sink deep into a person's sense of worth. Ones that take years to heal, if ever. One evening, I found him sitting on the porch, watching the sunset. I sat beside him, unsure what to say. "I'm sorry," I whispered. He looked straight ahead. "Do you know what the worst part was?" he asked quietly. "When the sun went down and I realized no one was coming back, that's when I stopped being angry. I just felt small, forgotten. I felt tears burn behind my eyes. I was foolish. I said, we all were. I thought it was just teasing." He turned toward me for the first time in days. Teasing stops being funny when someone feels left behind. That night, I deleted every photo from that trip. I couldn't bear to see any trace of it. Not the smiles, not the laughter, not the moment we thought we were being clever. It took months for Daniel to start smiling again. Real smiles, not the forced ones. I tried everything. Cooking his favorite meals, leaving small notes, giving him space when he needed it. Slowly, he began to open up again, but something in him had changed forever. A year later, Jason called. He wanted to organize another trip to make up for the last one. I declined immediately. Some memories don't need a do-over, I told him. They need to be left behind. After that, we drifted apart from that friend group. I didn't blame them as much as I blamed myself. I was there. I laughed. I stayed silent when I should have spoken. Today, when people talk about jokes or pranks, I'm the first one to say, make sure everyone's laughing or it's not funny. Because I learned that day that humor without empathy becomes cruelty. And though Daniel forgave me eventually, I will never forget the look on his face when he said, "You left me there." It wasn't the miles that broke him. It was realizing the people he trusted most thought his pain was a punchline. So yes, we left my husband far from home as a joke. But when he came back, the laughter was gone. And what replaced it was a lesson I'll carry for the rest of my life.